Question 1. Which of the following is the most important first step for a company when assessing its cyber insurance needs? A. Evaluate the company's claims history. B. Determine the potential financial impact of a cyber event. C. Assess the current cybersecurity measures and policies in place. D. Select an insurance provider based on price. Answer: C. Assess the current cybersecurity measures and policies in place. Explanation: the most important first step in assessing cyber insurance needs is evaluating the existing cybersecurity posture of the company, understanding how well the organization is protected against common cyber threats, such as ransomware, data breaches, or insider attacks. Helps to determine the extent of coverage required. If the company's cybersecurity measures are weak or insufficient, this increases the risk, necessitating a more comprehensive insurance policy. The other options, while important, are secondary to the initial assessment of cybersecurity measures. Question 2. A business has experienced a data breach that exposed sensitive customer information. The company has cyber insurance that covers data breach response costs. Which of the following would most likely be covered by this policy? A. Costs related to recovering the business's lost revenue due to system downtime. B. Costs for public relations efforts to repair the company's reputation. C. Penalties imposed by regulatory authorities for failing to notify affected customers. D. Costs of upgrading the company's cybersecurity infrastructure. Answer: B. Costs for public relations efforts to repair the company's reputation. Explanation: data breach response costs typically cover the necessary actions taken to mitigate the impact of the breach, including managing the public relations efforts to handle reputation damage. This could involve crisis communication and media management to restore trust among affected customers. While system downtime and upgrading cybersecurity infrastructure are critical, they are usually covered under different types of policies, such as business interruption or cyber extortion coverage. Regulatory penalties, however, are generally excluded from cyber insurance coverage as they relate to legal compliance issues. Question 3. Mr. Daniels, a small business owner in Mississippi, recently suffered a cyber attack that led to the loss of sensitive client data. He wants to file a claim under his cyber insurance policy but is unsure about the procedure. What should Mr. Daniels do first in this situation? A. Immediately notify his cyber insurance provider and provide details about the breach. B. Wait until the full extent of the damage is determined before contacting the insurance company. C. Attempt to recover the data before notifying the insurance provider. D. Contact law enforcement before contacting the insurance provider. Answer: A. Immediately notify his cyber insurance provider and provide details about the breach. Explanation: the first action Mr. Daniels should take is to notify his insurance provider as soon as possible. Most cyber insurance policies require timely notification of claims to avoid complications, such as denial of coverage due to delayed reporting. The insurer will guide him through the process, which typically involves gathering information about the breach and engaging cybersecurity experts to assess the damage, waiting until the full damage is determined, or attempting to recover data before notifying the insurer can lead to delays in claims processing. Additionally, while law enforcement might be involved, the insurer should be notified immediately to begin the claims process. Question 4. Which of the following is most likely to be excluded from a typical cyber insurance policy? A. Coverage for business interruption due to a cyber attack. B. Costs for digital asset restoration after a ransomware attack. C. Liability for a data breach resulting from an act of terrorism. D. Liability for a data breach resulting from an employee's negligence. Answer: C. Liability for a data breach resulting from an act of terrorism. Explanation: many cyber insurance policies exclude coverage for losses resulting from acts of war or terrorism. These exclusions are in place because acts of terrorism typically fall under specific exclusions in standard policies, especially in the context of catastrophic events, while other aspects of the attack, such as business interruption and data restoration, are typically covered. Damages related to terrorism are not. Employee negligence, on the other hand, is generally included under third-party liability coverage for data breaches. Question 5. A company is evaluating its exposure to cyber risks. Which of the following would be most important to assess in the underwriting process of a cyber insurance policy? A. The company's ability to handle media coverage of a potential breach. B. The type and amount of cybersecurity measures currently in place. C. The company's history of regulatory compliance in data privacy. D. The company's total number of employees and their roles. Answer B. The type and amount of cybersecurity measures currently in place. Explanation: in the underwriting process for cyber insurance, the insurer will prioritize assessing the organization's existing cybersecurity measures. These measures, such as firewalls, encryption, multi-factor authentication, and employee training, are essential in determining the company's risk level and the potential for a cyber attack. A well-secured company will generally be eligible for low premiums. The company's history of compliance is also important, but assessing existing cybersecurity measures is the primary focus for insurers. Question 6. Ms. Roberts is a business owner who is concerned about the possibility of a ransomware attack on her company. Which of the following is typically covered by cyber insurance under ransomware attack? A. Costs to decrypt and recover data. B. Ransom payment to the attacker. C. Reputational damage due to public knowledge of the attack. D. Lost revenue from business interruption. Answer B. Ransom payment to the attacker. Explanation: cyber insurance often covers the ransom payment made to cyber criminals in the event of a ransomware attack as part of a broader cyber extortion coverage. While coverage for lost revenue from downtime and data recovery may be included in the policy, paying the ransom is typically a covered expense. Reputational damage is usually covered under public relations costs in a data breach response, but it's not directly related to the ransom itself. Question 7. A company has been hit by a distributed denial of service (DDoS) attack that resulted in significant network downtime. Which type of cyber insurance coverage is most likely to cover the financial losses from this attack? A. Business interruption coverage. B. Liability coverage for third-party claims. C. Data breach response coverage. D. Cyber extortion coverage. Answer A. Business interruption coverage. Explanation: business interruption coverage is designed to cover the financial losses a company faces due to network downtime or system outages caused by cyber incidents such as DDoS attacks. This coverage helps to mitigate the loss of income during the downtime. Data breach response coverage generally covers costs related to managing a data breach, while cyber extortion covers ransom payments. Liability coverage applies to damages arising from third-party claims, not direct business interruption. Question 8. Which of the following is the primary function of the National Institute of Standards and Technology (NIST) cybersecurity framework in relation to cyber insurance? A. It sets the legal standards for cyber insurance premiums. B. It helps businesses assess and manage their cybersecurity risks. C. It defines the types of cyber insurance policies that can be offered. D. It regulates the claims process for cyber insurance policies. Answer B. It helps businesses assess and manage their cybersecurity risks. Explanation: the NIST cybersecurity framework provides guidelines and best practices to help organizations assess and manage their cybersecurity risks. This framework is often used by insurers when underwriting cyber insurance, as it allows them to evaluate the insured security posture. NIST's framework does not regulate premiums, define policy types, or dictate claims processes. It is primarily a tool for risk assessment and management. Question 9. In the context of cyber insurance, which of the following is considered a third-party liability coverage? A. Coverage for business income loss due to a system outage. B. Coverage for a breach of client data stored by a vendor. C. Coverage for the cost of repairing damaged data. D. Coverage for ransom payments demanded by cyber criminals. Answer B. Coverage for a breach of client data stored by a vendor. Explanation: third-party liability coverage applies when the insured company is held responsible for a cyber incident that affects a third party, such as a customer or vendor. In this case, if a data breach occurs that a vendor and client data is compromised, the company may be liable for the breach. The other options, business income loss, data repair costs, and ransom payments, are typically covered under first-party coverage, which protects the insured business directly. Question 10. In Mississippi, a company that suffers a data breach is required to notify affected individuals. Which of the following best describes the legal requirement under Mississippi's data breach notification law? A. Notification must occur within 30 days of the breach discovery. B. Notification must occur within 45 days of the breach discovery. C. Notification is required only if more than 500 individuals are affected. D. Notification must be made within 90 days of the breach discovery. Answer A. Notification must occur within 30 days of the breach discovery. Explanation: Mississippi's data breach notification law requires businesses to notify affected individuals within 30 days of discovering a data breach. The notification must include information on the nature of the breach, the type of data affected, and steps individuals can take to protect themselves. The 30-day timeline is crucial to mitigate the potential harm from a breach. While the states may have different notification requirements, Mississippi specifically mandates the 30-day window. Question 11. Which of the following is a critical factor in determining cyber insurance premiums for a business? A. The company's total revenue. B. The amount of employee benefits provided. C. The company's cybersecurity risk management practices. D. The number of physical offices the company has. Answer: C. A company's cybersecurity risk management practices. Explanation: the primary determinant of cyber insurance premiums is the company's cybersecurity risk management practices. Insurers assess the existing cybersecurity measures such as encryption, firewalls, employee training, and multi-factor authentication to gauge risk. Strong cybersecurity measures reduce the risk of a breach, leading to low premiums. Revenue and office locations are not as directly tied to the insurance premium calculation, that they may be considered as part of the overall risk assessment. Question 12. Mr. Smith, the small business owner, has a cyber insurance policy that includes coverage for data breach response costs. A breach occurs exposing customer data. Which of the following would most likely be covered by his policy? A. The cost of hiring a public relations firm to manage media attention. B. The loss of revenue due to the breach. C. The expenses related to upgrading security software. D. Legal fees related to defending a lawsuit from affected customers. Answer A. The cost of hiring a public relations firm to manage media attention. Explanation: data breach response coverage typically covers costs related to managing the public fallout from a breach, including public relations efforts, crisis management, and customer notification. Legal fees related to defending lawsuits or upgrading security software are usually not covered under this specific aspect of a policy. Loss of revenue could be covered under business interruption insurance, but it is not part of the data breach response costs. Question 13. What is the primary purpose of multi-factor authentication (MFA) in cybersecurity? A. To protect against physical security breaches. B. To enhance data encryption methods. C. To ensure that only authorized users can access sensitive systems. D. To monitor network traffic for signs of intrusions. Answer: C. To ensure that only authorized users can access sensitive systems. Explanation: multi-factor authentication (MFA) is used to enhance security by requiring users to provide 2 or more verification factors before accessing sensitive systems. These factors might include something the user knows, password, something the user has, smartphone, or something the user is, fingerprint. MFA significantly reduces the risk of unauthorized access. Even if a password is compromised, it does not directly affect physical security, data encryption, or intrusion detection. Question 14. Which of the following best describes the concept of cyber extortion in the context of cyber insurance? A. The illegal collection of customer data by a hacker for resale. B. The theft of funds from a company's bank account through phishing. C. A ransom demand from cybercriminals to restore access to data or systems. D. The exploitation of security vulnerabilities to disrupt company operations. Answer: C. A ransom demand from cybercriminals to restore access to data or systems. Explanation: cyber extortion refers to a situation where cybercriminals demand a ransom from a company, typically to restore access to critical data or systems after a cyber attack, such as ransomware. It is a specific type of cyber attack where the attacker threatens harm or loss if the ransom is not paid. The other options, illegal collection, phishing, and exploiting vulnerabilities, are types of cybercrime but are not classified as cyber extortion. Question 15. Which of the following laws governs the requirements for data breach notifications in Mississippi? A. The Mississippi Cybersecurity Protection Act. B. The General Data Protection Regulation (GDR). C. The Mississippi Data Breach Notification Law. D. The California Consumer Privacy Act (CP). Answer: C. The Mississippi Data Breach Notification Law. Explanation: the Mississippi Data Breach Notification Law outlines the legal requirements for notifying individuals whose personal data has been exposed in a data breach. This includes notification timelines, within 30 days of discovering the breach and specific information that must be included in the notification. The GDPR and CCPA are important privacy laws, but are not specific to Mississippi. The Mississippi Cybersecurity Protection Act addresses broader cybersecurity concerns, but not specifically breach notification. Question 16. Ms. Evans is considering purchasing cyber insurance for her business. She is particularly concerned about insider threats. Which of the following coverages should she ensure is included in her policy? A. Network business interruption coverage. B. Insider threat and fraud coverage. C. Cyber extortion coverage. D. First-party business interruption coverage. Answer: B. Insider threat and fraud coverage. Explanation: to address insider threats, Ms. Evans should ensure her cyber insurance policy includes coverage for insider threat and fraud. This coverage typically addresses the risks associated with employees, contractors, or other insiders who misuse access to compromise the organization's security. Network business interruption and cyber extortion are more related to external cyber threats, while first-party business interruption coverage relates to operational downtime. Question 17. What is the main purpose of encryption in cybersecurity? A. To track employee activities on company devices. B. To protect data during transmission and at rest. C. To reduce the risk of physical theft of devices. D. To detect and block unauthorized access to a network. Answer: B. To protect data during transmission and at rest. Explanation: encryption is used to protect data by converting it into a code that can only be deciphered with the correct key. This ensures that data is secure while being transmitted over networks or stored at rest. It is not directly related to tracking employee activities or detecting unauthorized access, though it does play a role in safeguarding data from unauthorized access. Question 18. What type of cyber risk is associated with the theft of credit card information from a company's database? A. Insider threat. B. Data breach. C. Ransomware attack. D. Distributed denial of service, DDoS. Answer: B. Data breach. Explanation: a data breach occurs when unauthorized access to a company's database exposes sensitive information such as credit card details. Insider threats involve malicious actions by employees, while ransomware attacks involve attackers demanding payment to restore access to systems. A DDoS attack typically involves overwhelming a system with traffic rather than stealing data. Question 19. In Mississippi, what is a potential consequence for an insurer who fails to comply with cyber insurance regulatory requirements? A. A fine or penalty from the state insurance department. B. Revocation of the insurer's business license in Mississippi. C. A lawsuit from affected policyholders. D. A federal investigation into the insurer's practices. Answer: A. A fine or penalty from the state insurance department. Explanation: if an insurer fails to comply with state-specific regulatory requirements, including those related to cyber insurance, they may face fines or penalties imposed by the Mississippi Insurance Department. Non-compliance could lead to sanctions, but it would not immediately result in license revocation unless the violations were severe or repeated. Lawsuits and federal investigations are not typically the immediate consequence of regulatory non-compliance. Question 20. A business is concerned about the impact of a data breach on its reputation. Which type of cyber insurance coverage is most likely to address these concerns? A. Business interruption coverage. B. Reputation management coverage. C. Cyber extortion coverage. D. Liability coverage for third-party claims. Answer: B. Reputation management coverage. Explanation: reputation management coverage is designed to cover the costs associated with managing the company's image and public relations after a data breach. This includes hiring public relations firms to mitigate negative media coverage. Business interruption coverage addresses financial losses from operational downtime, while cyber extortion and liability coverage focus on other aspects of cyber incidents. Question 21. Which of the following is most likely to be covered under a cyber liability insurance policy? A. Loss of business income due to a hardware failure. B. Costs related to investigating a data breach. C. Employee medical expenses due to cyber-related stress. D. Property damage due to a cyber attack. Answer: B. Costs related to investigating a data breach. Explanation: cyber liability insurance typically covers costs incurred due to a data breach, including the expenses associated with investigating the breach. Business income losses due to hardware failure typically covered under a property insurance policy, while medical expenses and property damage due to a cyber attack are not generally covered under cyber liability policies. Question 22. What is the primary function of a firewall in cybersecurity? A. To encrypt sensitive data during transmission. B. To monitor the network for suspicious activity. C. To prevent unauthorized access to or from a private network. D. To back up critical data. Answer: C. To prevent unauthorized access to or from a private network. Explanation: a firewall is a network security system designed to monitor and control incoming and outgoing network traffic. It acts as a barrier between a trusted internal network and untrusted external networks, such as the Internet, preventing unauthorized access. It does not perform encryption, backup, or active monitoring for suspicious activity, though it can log such activities. Question 23. Which of the following is true about ransomware attacks? A. They typically involve stealing a company's intellectual property. B. Ransomware attacks are often used to target physical infrastructure. C. The attackers demand a payment in exchange for restoring access to the encrypted data. D. Ransomware attacks only target large corporations. Answer: C. The attackers demand a payment in exchange for restoring access to the encrypted data. Explanation: ransomware attacks involve cybercriminals encrypting a victim's data and demanding payment, often in cryptocurrency, in exchange for the decryption key. These attacks can affect businesses of any size and may target data rather than intellectual property or physical infrastructure. Question 24. Which of the following is an example of a phishing attack? A. A hacker infiltrates a company's database to steal sensitive customer data. B. An employee receives an email that appears to be from a legitimate source asking for login credentials. C. A company's website is flooded with traffic in a DDoS attack. D. A user's device is infected with malware through a fake software update. Answer: B. An employee receives an email that appears to be from a legitimate source asking for login credentials. Explanation: phishing attacks typically involve cybercriminals sending fraudulent emails that appear to be from a legitimate source, attempting to trick recipients into revealing sensitive information such as login credentials. The other options describe different types of cyber attacks, including database breaches, DDoS attacks, and malware infections. Question 25. In the event of a data breach, which of the following actions is most likely to be required by law in most states? A. The business must notify affected individuals about the breach. B. The company must pay for credit monitoring services for all affected customers. C. The business must provide compensation for all affected customers. D. The company must disclose the breach in national media outlets. Answer: A. The business must notify affected individuals about the breach. Explanation: in most states, businesses are required by law to notify affected individuals if their personal data is exposed in a data breach, while credit monitoring services may be offered in some cases. Providing compensation or public media disclosure is not typically a legal requirement. Question 26. What is a zero-day vulnerability? A. A vulnerability that has been known to the public for at least a year. B. A vulnerability that has been patched by the software vendor. C. A newly discovered vulnerability that has not yet been fixed by the vendor. D. A vulnerability that affects only outdated versions of software. Answer: C. A newly discovered vulnerability that has not yet been fixed by the vendor. Explanation: a zero-day vulnerability refers to a security flaw that is discovered but has not yet been addressed by the software vendor. The term zero-day refers to the fact that the vendor has had 0 days to fix the vulnerability. This makes zero-day vulnerabilities particularly dangerous, as attackers can exploit them before a patch is released. Question 27. A company purchases a cyber liability insurance policy to cover the risk of a cyber attack. Which of the following is typically not covered under a standard cyber insurance policy? A. Costs of hiring a public relations firm after data breach. B. Expenses related to restoring data lost in an attack. C. The company's lost profits due to a cyber attack. D. Legal defense costs for a lawsuit due to a data breach. Answer: C. The company's lost profits due to a cyber attack. Explanation: while a cyber insurance policy may cover crisis management, e.g. hiring a PR firm, data restoration and legal defense costs, lost profits are typically covered by business interruption insurance, not cyber liability insurance. Cyber liability insurance focuses on the costs incurred due to a cyber attack but generally does not cover indirect losses like lost profits. Question 28. Which of the following would most likely require the purchase of additional coverage under a standard cyber insurance policy? A. A company's IT department regularly updates security patches. B. A business stores sensitive personal information on encrypted servers. C. A company regularly conducts cybersecurity audits. D. A company uses cloud services to back up critical data. Answer D. A company uses cloud services to back up critical data. Explanation: while encryption, regular updates, and audits can reduce a company's overall risk, using cloud services to back up critical data may require additional coverage. Cloud services involve third-party vendors, which could introduce new risks or uncertainties, such as the vendor's data security practices. This may necessitate additional coverage for cloud-based risks under the company's cyber insurance policy. Question 29. What is the term used to describe the unauthorized use or access of a company's internal network or systems? A. Phishing. B. Malware. C. Insider threat. D. Data breach. Answer: C. Insider threat. Explanation: an insider threat refers to any malicious or negligent behavior by individuals within the organization that leads to unauthorized access or use of internal systems or data. Phishing malware and data breaches can be external threats, while insider threats specifically originate from within the organization. Question 30. What type of cyber insurance coverage would help a business recover from the cost of restoring data lost during a cyber attack? A. Network interruption coverage. B. Data breach notification coverage. C. Data restoration coverage. D. Cyber extortion coverage. Answer: C. Data restoration coverage. Explanation: data restoration coverage helps businesses recover costs associated with restoring data lost or corrupted during a cyber attack, such as from a ransomware attack. Network interruption coverage deals with business continuity issues. Data breach notification covers the costs of notifying affected individuals, and cyber extortion covers the cost of a ransom payment in case of an attack demanding payment for access to data.